Welcome to the Rise Up For You podcast. I'm Lauren Sweeney. I'm your host, and I'm also the vice president here at Rise Up For You. Today, we're going to dive in, and we want to let you know we're excited that you're here. We're excited that you're diving in and investing in your own professional development. We also want to make sure that you know that you can get our free gift by going to riseupforyou.com/success kit. And there you're going to get a wealth of information to increase your confidence, your professional development, your emotional intelligence, and public speaking skills. But now let's dive into the podcast.
Everything you need is already inside of you. The world would not be what it is without you. When we begin to create change within us, we begin to create change in the world around us. Your journey to becoming your best self as the whole person starts right now.
Well, we're excited about our special guest today, and she is an incredible woman coming to us live today from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And actually, our founder, Netta, is going to be speaking at their conference this May of 2023. Andresa is a skilled developer and asset manager with extensive experience in full gut renovation projects, new construction, and commercial development. She owns a rental portfolio comprised of both long and short-term rentals, and she's really your go-to person when it comes to implementing processes that allow for scalability. I know we have so many entrepreneurs that are listening to our show today and leaders that whether or not you're in the real estate industry, you could use some scalability. I know, I talk to you all the time. She's the co-founder and CEO of the Real Estate and InvestHER community, co-host of the Real Estate InvestHER show, and recently published InvestHER's first book. Congratulations on that. It's part of the Bigger Pockets podcast network. Their podcast is Bigger Pockets family of podcasts has generated more than 110 million collective downloads across multiple industries. The Bigger Pockets Real Estate Podcast is, congratulations, the #1 real estate investing podcast and offers a community of 1.8 million members. Really incredible. Today, as an entrepreneur, Andresa has the Real Estate Investor Show, and it can be found in the top 25 investing podcasts and top 50 business podcasts overall. Let's welcome her live to our show today. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So how did you get involved really in the real estate space? And I love that you've specifically niched your brand into not just doing investing, but now teaching others how to do it, to making it an online platform, to having the podcast, and to having the conference, to niching it to a female audience. I think a lot of times people say, well, I want to be good at everything. What do you do? Everything. I'm a real estate investor. I invest in every type. But that niche, I bet, is your genius zone. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, real estate was not even in my vocabulary. I was born and raised in Brazil, and I came to the US to pursue my master's degree. So that was not even in my day-to-day vocabulary whatsoever. And I took a door-to-door sales position to gain experience in sales because I didn't have it. And one day, my manager, during one of our meetings, I asked about a sales book, and he passed across the table, this small purple book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. And he said, you're not going to be in sales or anything else. You're going to be entrepreneur. You might not see it, but you're going to be entrepreneur. And read this book, and we'll talk about it on Monday. And then I opened this book and learned about owning properties, multiple properties, cash flow, assets, liabilities. Again, a completely different vocabulary that I didn't know. And I didn't know there existed a world where people were able to retire earlier, to build generational wealth, and to live life on their own terms using the benefits of owning a business and owning assets as real estate. And I was like, why didn't I know about this? I have 2 master's degree. I never came across this. And that's how I started my journey in getting the knowledge. And at some point, my business partner and I, Liz Faircloth, we start asking ourselves, where do women like us go to get the support that they need? Because we did attend multiple conferences. We were not represented on stage, and we were many times the only woman in the room in several meetings in attending very small group of women. The women that were there were not raising their hand to ask the questions. So we looked for a place, we couldn't find it, so we created the real estate investor community. It's an intimate global platform for women who are investing in real estate to come get the support they need to build their portfolio on their own terms. That is the key. And I think that that's exactly what you're mentioning, right? Many entrepreneurs, we want to serve a large audience. You're in the serving business. And I understand. I don't really care if it is real estate, bagels, shoes, whatever that is. We are in the hospitality business in terms of serving people. You begin to understand your avatar to the T, not just their demographics, but their way of thinking, their behavior, their name. Yes, we name our avatar to the point that you really understand their pain points and how can you serve them. That allowed us to really grow this community to 60 meetups across the country in Canada, our podcast, our conference where we gather over 500 women. So it's really organically growing on our own terms because we also have families and different desires to live life in not in a traditional or quote unquote balanced way. We have different desires. So we created the life that we want to live now.
I love that, Andresa. Amazing. Most people, Netta, our CEO, really did a lot of research. 83% of working professionals today lack self-confidence. And you're really in that minority because you were sitting in that room. You could have been feeling like an imposter as one of the only women amongst all the men investing in real estate. And you didn't have a background in it, right? But you were there to learn. You were hungry to learn. And just like you said, even if there was a woman in the audience, she didn't raise her hand. She didn't ask a question. She wasn't on that stage. But you thought, well, I'm going to ask a question and I'm going to build my own stage.
Literally.
That's such a example of what you can do. And like you said, whether or not you're in real estate or you sell jewelry or you sell widgets or you make websites, it's the same process. It's the same mental mindset that says, you know what? There's a niche here. I don't see something for someone like me. And so I'm going to create it. And I also love that you didn't just have resignation and say, well, woe is me. I'll just get a 9-to-5 job. Nothing wrong with a 9-to-5 job. But that's not what you wanted. And you didn't let that fear or that resignation stop you. You said, it's okay. I got this. I'm going to make it.
Well, many people think that is a straight line, right? From A to Z. It wasn't. I had different types of jobs and I had to get to know myself in a completely different level and really accept my strengths and the areas that I wasn't so good at, but that's okay. Then I can build a team of people that have that. But I think that the self-development it's key. Really get to know oneself to the core. What do I want? What I'm feeling here, not what society tells me that success looks like, but what success looks like to me. To me, Andresa, it is to work from whatever I want with whomever I want, how often I want. Meaning I have the choice of how I spend my time. Time is my biggest asset, and that's how I measure my success. And that's how we share with all the women how it looks for you. It might look different from me, but we are breaking stereotypes about what it should look like. If you don't fit that mold, then you're not successful. And then women, the confidence get affected because it's an expectation that we many times it just doesn't fit. It's like it's trying to fit a square in a circle. It doesn't fit. So we were thinking there are more women like us out there. And we were told that we were going to run out of women to interview on our podcast. And that was 5 years ago. But we're still going very, very, very strong. Over 42 countries, over 50,000 downloads per month. We are going very, very strong. And the more that we talk, more we talk to women, more that we see more women that we didn't know before that were under the radar, simply because they didn't feel comfortable or going to places where they were not represented. So we're finding the confidence on each other. That is the bottom line.
Wow, so inspiring. I love that. It goes with that growth mindset as well that we talk about so much. That growth mindset that says you're going to run out of people. Okay, I'm going to get started.
Thanks for sharing, right? Because here's the bottom line, right? I don't need the approval for anybody else. I get my confidence from myself. I back myself up. But I've got to know who I am. What are my true core genius? What I'm truly good at, and I own it. I don't need to turn it down so other people are not going to feel any way, shape, or form. I really own it. And I put it on paper and go take action, right? Because I can share here a list of things that did not go my way, that I could use it as a justification or excuse for me to become victim of my life, of the facts that happen. But I choose to look at those as fuel. How can I overcome it? And how I'm going to use that, the lessons that I'm learning, all the turning points to support other people. Because if I don't get the lesson, that's gonna happen again and again and again. So every time that something not so good happens, that I'm like, whoa, I am in the middle over here of this hurricane. My main goal when I'm going through it is to find the lesson in it, so I can move past that phase. That's like video games, right? I don't play it, but that's how my son tells me that it works. Once you get all the little stars, you learn, you pass phase. So that's how I approach.
Yes, absolutely. My son would probably say the same thing.
Yeah.
I love that you were talking a little bit about creating it in a way that works for you, especially as a woman, especially with a family.
Yeah.
Do people ask you, Andresa, how do you do it all? How do you have balance? What do you say about that? Because you're very successful, yet I feel like you're also happy and genuinely love what you do. And I'm sure you can't work 24/7 and still make that happen.
Right. I just say I don't. Your right? People's perception. I don't do it all because I choose not to do it all because it's my choice, right? I think many women, we figure it out. We are masters in figuring things out and handling things and juggling things, right? To our own detriment. I know what burnout looks like. I've been there. I've been to the hospital, right? So I'm in recovery mode. There's a lot of things that I had to unlearn throughout my life. I had to learn a lot, but I also had to unlearn a lot of patterns that were no longer serving my life. So building a team, building systems and process in place, truly understanding, why am I procrastinating on doing this? Well, it's not my natural ability there, and I don't want to do it. That's the bottom line. So what are the other ways that can happen? In really enrolling friends, family, team members, employees, everybody with, what are your boundaries? What time? What time do I have lunch? What time do I want to receive emails? What time do I want to have calls? Do I want to be part of, do I have to be part of every single meeting? No. How can I empower my team to think on their own and free up my time? I'm always looking at my time, right? The automation to free up my time, teams to free up my time. And then when we are together is really, really strategic. And again, I'm empowering people, because what it comes down to, when you're scaling and building a team, no matter what you're selling, service or product, it's all about your leadership ability, your leadership skills in talking and training and enrolling and doing all over again and firing and hiring, right? The right people. and getting to know them in a different level, that is where the I stand right now, not so much in the nitty gritty. I pay my dues and I moved along. Now how I approach things, even though if I understand, oh, I can totally implement this, but should I? Is there anybody else here that can do that for me? Can I be at least fractional in it? So
Mhm.
my goal is always to be like a toothpick. I'm in and out, in and out.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's not possible to scale and build a team. Really isn't. But the process, it's ups and downs, and you learn as you grow.
I love that image. Putting that toothpick in if you're going to check if the brownies are done. In and
Yeah.
out, just quickly, and knowing where, getting your ego out of it so you can say, you know what, I don't need to be in this meeting.
How the ego. I heard this from a mentor, right? Because mentors are always, always, always a must. As you get to different levels, you get different types of mentors. One of our mentors um, was talking about the toothpick, right? That you go in and then you go out. Otherwise, you are just in the nitty gritty of it, and you're not going to accomplish. And she said, your ego brought you here, but you will not take you there. You really need to really have a face to face to your ego right now. If you want to scale, if you want to build life on your own terms, because that will hold you back in terms of, oh, I need to be in control of it. I would encourage all the folks that are listening to think, do you need to be in control of it, or do you want to be informed? Many would say, wait a minute, no, I just don't need to be informed. I want to understand what's happening. Great. So that's how we can build systems around that, so you can have a pulse by looking at it. We have tools nowadays. We have the privilege to have management tools where we are able to have a pulse if I want to, and not necessarily babysit team members. That's nobody's job and nobody likes it, right? So that's how I look at it. 100%. The ego in terms of, listen, I dropped the ball there. I'm very sorry. Taking ownership of it and really implementing things that will help not just your relationship with that individual, but the culture within the company. You set the tone. You celebrate it. If everybody goes well, great. You take it. If things don't go well, that's on you too,
That's right.
as a
That
leader.
ownership. That it's so much about emotional intelligence and what you just described. That self-awareness, self-management, having that social awareness. It's really fantastic. I want to talk about how people can find you. And I
Sure.
also want to talk about the conference coming up in May. Where is it going to be?
So the conference is going to be a 2-day experience event in Scottsdale, Arizona on May 18 and 19. And we this year we're going to be talking about generational wealth, because in real estate, in any other industry, right? If you're we work very hard to build, but it takes 2 generations to take everything down. So we are talking a little bit further than just passing along assets, right? We're talking about how can we live life right now and benefit from it, but also the skill sets, the values, the way of thinking. How can we prepare the next generation to achieve higher success and live life on their own terms? And I'm very excited that Nadalena is coming to talk about confidence, because it is a big piece for us to really live life on our own terms. And confidence, no matter what industry, it is holding a lot of women back. So I'm very excited about her presentation.
Yeah, we're very excited to have her coming. If you would like to register for this amazing conference and get to listen to everything that the team has put on, it is on the website. So it's also going to be in our show notes. But if you're watching visually, it's therealestateinvesther.com. And then the conference specifically is the same link, therealestateinvesther.com/invest her Con. And we will link it to the show notes, but as long as you're listening to this in February, March, or April of 2023, you could still register. And if you're listening to this in 2025, register for the next one.
Yes.
I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Well, we love to ask kind of a closing question, Andresa, and that is, what does Rise Up for you mean to you?
I think it's meeting our best self. I'm always looking to meet my future self. And I do meditations and I get to have conversations. People are always like, what are you talking about? Right. But yeah, get to know her and see where she's at and rising up to her. My goal is to get to her as quickly as possible. So not taking things personally and really like, this is an experience for me, right? I am a living being, living an experience here. And my goal is to learn from what's happening here. Not good, not bad. But I think rise up to that, my full potential. That's my ultimate goal.
I love that. Oh, so good. Well, I appreciate your energy, your passion, your clarity, and just congratulations on your success, but also what you're giving to women really around the globe in the area of real estate, but in the area of wealth and choices and opportunities.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate, and I'm here to support all of you that are listening. Please reach out. Here to serve.
Fantastic. What a great energy. Just so fantastic listening to her. We are so excited that you listened to our show here at Rise Up for You. And we want to give you our gift that I mentioned in the beginning. So please text Rise Podcast to 949-416-0671 and download our free success kit and confidence coaching call so you can rise up for you.